So the reasons why you would want to use a card scraper are it's a different way to smooth your wood out. A hand plane is usually the best way. That's going to give that real bright chatoyance to the wood. But sometimes on really figured woods that we all love and burls, you're going to get a lot of tear out even with the sharpest hand plane. So then you're kind of limited to sanding or scraping. A scraper is a great tool in that case because you can go any direction. It's fairly aggressive and it's not gonna like burn through the wood, but it's gonna give you very directed and targeted removals of wood shavings where you need to remove it. This is a nice piece of quarter sawn white oak. And now you can see, ooh, very aggressive. It's cutting quite well. That's shavings, and that's what we're looking for. Full shavings like that. So you got your card scraper, and I'm gonna show you how to prep it. So the first thing that we wanna do is prepare the edge, and we're gonna use a file and some type of abrasive stone or sandpaper to get the edge ready so that we can then pull a burr on it. Take your brand new card scraper and put it into a vise. And then you're just going to take a file and just remove this steel. And what we're trying to do here is just get rid of the work hardened material that happened through the stamping process. We'll get it. Oh yeah, so now it's starting to cut. I can see we're past the work hardened material. I can feel the file actually cutting. So now that's kind of what the edge looks like. But what I want to do is I want to bring this edge up to a little bit more finer polish than what the file is going to give me. So I'm going to work on this face and then I'm going to work on this face. And I have a couple different things here. So if you don't have sharpening stones at home, you can just use, this is like a piece of granite remnant with pieces of sandpaper glued to both sides, and this works just fine. You know, you will wear out the sandpaper, so you have to constantly replace it. If you do have sharpening stones, I would recommend to use these instead. And so this is an oil stone right here, and it's coarse. I mean, you can feel the coarseness when you run your nail across it. And then I also have a finer one. This is a translucent Arkansas stone. So first thing I'm going to do is the filing process gave me a burr, which I can feel here with my thumbnail and you can hear it. I need to remove that burr. So I'm just going to get some oil on here. And then just very quickly, because the card is so thin, I need to put direct pressure on every little part of the edge here to make sure I'm getting rid of that burr. Okay, and then I'll check it. Yep, no burr. So that means now I can work on this edge. And all I'm going to do for this is hold this at 90 degrees and polish it like this. There's a lot of different gizmos out there that people are going to try to sell you to do this task, and you do not need it. I've seen some people take like a board and put that board on there and hold the card scraper at 90 degrees. Just trust yourself. You know what 90 degrees is. Put the card on the stone and go. It's going to be just fine. Don't overthink it. Okay? So now I'm going to take a look at the edge and see if it's an even sheen, and it looks like it is. Okay? So now what I'll do is go up to the finer stone and do the same exact thing. You'll notice your card came with like a blue coloring to it. This color will come off as you use it. I'm not exactly sure what that coloring is, but you can see it's kind of removed on this edge already because we've been using this quite a bit. So the burr's gone. Now I'll repeat the process here. Holding it at 90 degrees, moving it back and forth. Okay, now I'm going to look to see if I got an even sheen. I don't know, can you pick that up on camera? How the sunlight's kind of reflecting off of it. Okay, so now I have removed the fatigue metal and this tool is ready to burnish. So when you're card scraping, there's two different tasks. One is to remove metal, which is what we just did. You remove metal with the file and the sharpening stones or sandpaper. And then the next task is you need to move metal. And what I mean by that is literally move the metal molecules and kind of shape them. Think about it as if this is like a piece of clay, and then you're going to use this tool to draw the clay out. You can't see it because it's metal and it's microscopic, but that's exactly what's happening. So this rod right here is nothing special. All this is a drill rod with a handle on it. So if you don't have a burnisher, you can also just use an old drill bit. And I'm going to use this smooth side down here, and it'll work just fine. And I'll actually do it with this instead. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is lay it flat, and I'm going to apply a lot of pressure. And I want to pull towards me and pull out. And visualize this as if you're pulling the metal molecules straight that way. And you're trying to get them to point towards my left side. Okay, so here, you want to use a pretty fair amount of pressure on this to get the metal molecules to move. You'll notice I'm drawing out as I'm doing this, right, to pull those metal molecules. And then that's ready. So what I'm going to do now is put this into this vise, clamp it really tight. And this is the corner that we're going to work on. And so what I want to do now is pull those metal molecules towards my left again. And so whenever I'm using this burnisher, I'm going to kind of put a left sweep on it here, like so. So I'm here, I got this at 90 degrees. Again, don't buy a gizmo, trust yourself, you know what 90 degrees is. And, ooh. Okay, a lot of pressure on this. And now what I'm going to do is start tilting this to about 3 degrees. Don't measure it, just do it. And again, I am pulling the metal out. Now right there, I have a pretty fine burr on it. You can do a fine burr and an aggressive burr. A friend of mine, Dave Heller, who does a lot of marquetry work, told me that I do my burrs too aggressively. And that would make sense because he's scraping very thin wood. But I'm doing solid wood, so I like to have an aggressive burr. So I'm gonna just keep going, a lot of pressure. And as you can see, this drill bit works just fine, but I only got this short area to work with. So that's when, you know, this might be a little bit more helpful because then you can take a longer stroke. But if you don't want to go to the store, you don't need it. So in use, I like to put a little bit of flex into it so I can kind of direct where the cutting is happening. After a while, it will get hot, so you can take this magnet and stick that magnet on there, and that kind of acts as an insulator between the metal and your thumbs. Yeah, very good. All right. So that's it. Now, the question that everybody always asks is, how often do I have to sharpen this? And remember, there's two distinct things that we're doing. One is sharpening and one is burnishing. You only have to sharpen this maybe once a year, but you have to burnish it, you know, more frequently than that depending on how much you're doing. I could probably use this for at least 4 or 5 hours before I had to re-burnish it. And then when I go to re-burnish it, all I'm going to do is follow that same exact process of laying it like this, and I'm drawing those metal molecules out, like so, lots of pressure. And then I'll put it back in here like this. You don't have to sharpen it that often unless it gets damaged or just the steel becomes so work hardened that it's not cutting for you anymore. And you'll notice that because what you'll do is that you'll go through this process of burnishing, and then when you go to make shavings, it's just not making shavings anymore, it's making dust. That's a pretty good indicator that you have to go back and remove the fatigued metal by using some kind of abrasive. So I'm here again, and I'll tilt it. That's pretty good. So just that quick. And now I got this rough piece of oak here. Try to hold it. So just to show you how aggressive this is, you can take a rough board and smooth it out, as you can see that I'm doing here.